Hello, Bengals fans. This is Rebecca Toback from Cincy Jungle, and we're here just about a half hour after the Bengals selected Ohio State center Billy Price in the first round of the 2018 draft. This is what I had been expecting for the team prior to this week when Dave Lapham said that the Bengals were going to draft Frank Ragnow, and the Lions ended up picking him one pick ahead of some history made as two centers taken back-to-back in the first time ever happened in draft history. And so Ragnow is gone. The Bengals went after Price, and I really do think that that was actually their plan all along. I think that Price was the Bengals' first center option, and I think that he was really their first option no matter what. There was a lot of talk about if they were going to take Lamar Jackson. He was still available. He is still available, has not been taken yet. The Steelers are on the clock and about to make their pick, and Ryan Shazier is actually there standing, walking, and making that pick for them, which is nice news for them and for him. So yeah, that seems to be the big thing right now. But to the Bengals pick, it is Billy Price from Ohio State. I think it's a great pick for the team. It ends the drought of Ohio State players not coming to the Bengals. Oh, wow. Big surprise. Terrell Edmonds, the safety out of Virginia Tech, not Tremaine Edmonds, who was a pick earlier tonight, was just selected by the Steelers. That is really, really surprising news. He was expected to be like a day 3 pick. He is someone I actually really liked, but definitely not as a round 1 selection. So this is really surprising news. Sorry, I keep turning to look at the TV because this is big breaking news here about the Steelers pick. But let's talk about the Bengals pick. Happy to take some questions about Billy Price. This is, I think, one thing about Billy Price is that he was one of the top-ranked centers for his run-blocking ability, and obviously the Bengals need to improve the run game this year. That is hugely important that the Bengals have an effective run game this year after being the worst in the league in the run game last year. So that will be a big thing, getting a capable starting center, someone who is far beyond what Russell Bodine was ever capable of doing in Cincinnati. This is really exciting for the Bengals to finally have a top center, someone they can rely on. Someone just asked if he's going to be ready to play in training camp. He is expected to fully be ready. His doctor guaranteed him to be ready by June. Training camp starts the last 2 days of July, so he should really be fully ready to go by the time training camp starts. And even though he was injured at the combine, it was a freak injury. He just called it sickening in talking to the Bengals media a few minutes ago. It was a complete just shock for him to be injured. He played 55 straight games at Ohio State, which is a crazy number of games to consecutively play without missing any games due to injury. He is a natural leader. Someone just talked about he was a huge locker room presence at Ohio State. I think the Bengals loved that he kind of like commands the room when he walks into it. He's a really stand-up guy. After he was injured at the combine, he stayed instead of just like leaving immediately because he wanted to talk to the media, explain himself, make sure that everyone knew exactly what happened with his injury. And I think that the Bengals were very interested in him because of his presence, his ability as a leader, and I think they need him to be someone who can come in, start on day 1, and I do expect that to fully be the case. I think that a big reason they went with him over James Daniels, which people are talking about, is because, one, the run blocking ability, he ranked higher in that regard, and then also coming from Ohio State, I think they thought, that coming from Ohio State made him a really strong contender, played against really top defenses, maybe more so than they thought with James Daniels, who is still available. I'll take some more questions, but going to head off soon so we can keep writing on Cincy Jungle. All the things you could be looking for tonight are there. Social media reactions, regular reactions, analysis of the pick, so much more. So definitely check it all out. I think tomorrow the top positions that are going to be in play for round 2 are a defensive lineman. I think Harrison Phillips out of Stanford is someone to watch for. A safety, maybe Justin Reed potentially, or Ronnie Harrison. also an option, and maybe a linebacker, but I would imagine linebacker more for round 3 than for round 2. The Bengals have 2 round 3 picks, so they have the last pick in round 3, which is maybe where a linebacker could be taken. PJ Dawson was actually selected with the same pick, number 100 overall. That did not work out. Hopefully, if the Bengals go linebacker with pick 100 again, it works out more successfully than Dawson did, who is now kind of bouncing all over, might be on the Seahawks roster, but really is not someone who worked out in the NFL. Okay, so I think we're going to head out because there's a lot more going on that we need to cover. But if you leave some questions, I will answer them in the comments or later on the site. Yeah, someone just asked about Tigre Scales. I think he's an option, but maybe for day 3, not round 3. So you can keep an eye on him too. The Bengals are definitely interested in him. I don't think there's going to be a tight end pick tomorrow, but maybe depending on slides. Ravens just took a tight end, which was pretty surprising, Hayden Hurst. Don't think he was expected to be the first tight end off the board, but the Ravens traded back twice, so clearly they felt they got enough draft compensation in those trades to then go ahead and get the guy who they wanted after making 2 trades earlier in the night. I don't think that was a good pick for them, so that's great for us. It's interesting that they didn't take Lamar Jackson, still available. If you're not watching right now, Taven Bryan was just selected by the Jaguars. That's the latest pick that is in. Okay, awesome. So I think this was a successful night for the Bengals. They got their number 1 draft need, which was center, taken care of, and now we can move on to everything else, which is secondary to fulfilling the center position, which needed to be upgraded very fast. So it might have been a bit of a reach to take Price where they did, but clearly they knew what they had to do and they stuck to their beliefs in drafting him. So yes, he's injured. It sucks that we drafted another injured guy, but I feel really confident that he's going to be healthy for the start of training camp, not for OTAs, but that's all right. So we'll head out. Be sure to check out Cincy Jungle because we have so much coming. Also, just a really awesome thing that Billy Price said that I am obsessed with is that, let me get the exact quote. Oh, it's gone. Okay, well, first of all, he said that he was so excited the Bengals were drafting him that he almost forgot to answer his phone, and that when he saw the 513 area code, he was like freaking out. And he said, this is exactly what I wanted, to stay in Ohio and bring the Ohio State brand to Cincinnati. I love that. I think it's awesome. I think he's going to be a great pick for the team, and I'm really excited about it. So that's all for now. Houday. Have a great night.